Hi, it's Maggie the Irish Gypsy here to bring you your May 2022 general reading. We're looking at the first half of May from the 1st through the 15th, and this is for the air sign of Gemini, the twins. Welcome, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. Thanks for taking the time to be here, for watching, sharing, liking, subscribing, supporting. Those of you who reach out for personal readings, always a note of gratitude. Thank you. So Gemini, this is for you for the first half of May 2022. That's if your sun, moon, rising, or Venus sign is in Gemini. It's relevant if you're cross-watching for a Gemini. It's a general reading, so of course it's going to resonate a little differently for everyone. If you know all of your signs, sun, moon, rising, and Venus, watch them all because each one can bring in a little additional insight and perspective into what's going on in your life. And if you find that something does resonate with you, you'd like to take a deeper look at it, reach out for a personal reading, for yourself or as a gift for someone else, feel free to email me directly, Maggie1McGuire@gmail.com. You can also see that contact info by clicking the description link, that arrow with this video. I'd be delighted to hear from you, and I can usually respond the same day with more information. I do offer a pretty wide variety of readings in all areas of life, and I work pretty hard at being timely with scheduling, so message me if you're interested. Okay, Gemini, let's see what the first half of May looks like for you. I am using the Tarot of Dreams and clarifying with Legacy of the Divine. Okay, Gemini, we begin with a little reflection. 7 of Coins, taking stock, taking inventory, taking a look at what you have, what you've invested in something, and asking yourself, do you want to continue? Do you want to make changes? Do you want to take what you can and leave and go start something else somewhere else? It's a card of looking at what you have invested and perhaps making decisions based on that. With that, we have the 8 of Wands, fast movement, the traditional travel card, movement forward. Do I have enough to invest in something? Do I have enough to go on a trip? Should I? And enough meaning, do I have enough financial and material stuff to do this thing, to move forward on this thing if it's not travel? It could also represent, emotional or relationship stuff as well. Do I have enough? I've invested this. This is what I have to show for it. Does it justify it? Can I move forward on something? Next, we have the 10 of Coins, long-term stability and security, strong connection to home and family, inheritance, money, long-term relationships. It represents not worrying about future security. It's long-term stability and security, so like finances and material stuff. It's having enough that you don't worry about tomorrow, next week, next month, next year. In terms of relationship, it's the same thing. It's feeling secure and rooted and grounded so you're not stressed out about tomorrow. With the Fool, the first major arcana card in the tarot, where the whole tarot journey starts of learning and growing and evolving. It can represent going on a journey as well, trying something different, stepping off the beaten path. Sometimes it can represent doing something foolish if it's about money. That's probably not a great idea, but we'll clarify. Next, we have the 8 of Swords, feeling trapped, feeling held back by these swords. Swords are governed by the element of air, which governs our intellectual landscape. So how we see things, how we view things, our ideologies and perspectives, it affects how we look at the world and how we communicate with everything outside of ourselves. So feeling held back by some kind of idea or perspective, some message. With the High Priestess, your intuition, connection to the divine. Some people call it higher self, some people call it gut instinct. This is a sense of inner knowing. Gemini, it feels like there's something in front of you that you could do or that you're being offered or have an opportunity to do, and you're trying to consider whether or not you should do it or you should invest whatever it needs to be invested in order to do it, whether it's finances, money, emotions, a combination of all of those. But it feels like you have a sense of knowing that you shouldn't. From the bottom of the deck, the overall focus for the first half of May is the 9 of Cups, wish fulfillment, your cups overflowing with abundance, having what you want. But in a more decadent sort of sense than, say, the 10 of Cups, which is happy home, happy family. There's more of a connection of love, spirituality, security there. The Nine of Cups, it's more decadent, you know, having what you want, having your cake and eating it too. Yeah, it feels like temptation. That's what it feels like. It's that there's something that you want to do, something you want very much, or that makes you feel very good. You're trying to figure out, and it might be something you've done before, but there's something in front of you, you know, you can do it now, but it feels like maybe you shouldn't because it's not good for you, or that it's, I don't know, the cycle of it's proven to be unhealthy. That's what I'm picking up. Let's clarify the overall energy of the Nine of Cups. The Four of Swords, taking a temporary withdrawal from a battle, a challenge, to rest, recuperate. It's a card of exhaustion and recovery, maybe gaining a different perspective, taking a temporary step back. The Nine of Swords, my least favorite card in the tarot. Stress, anxiety, worry, fear, insomnia. This is worry about an unknown future. It's the opposite of that Ten of Coins, where you have enough security and stability. You're not worried about tomorrow, next week, next month. This card is a card of worrying about an unknown future. What if this happens? What if this doesn't happen? Thinking about something obsessively, and almost always with a negative connotation, like fearing the worst is going to happen. It doesn't mean that the source of your concern isn't valid, but the Nine of Swords represents dwelling on it to the point that is really unhealthy, negative, and obsessive. So basically worried about the Nine of Cups, whatever that Nine of Cups is for you. It's quite clear that it's something you really want, but something which may not be good for you, or may no longer be good for you. There's perhaps some unhealthy thread or cycle in it somehow, but there's all this stress, anxiety, worry, and fear. For some of you, it may just be, extreme stress about finances, material stuff, and how things are going to work out for you in the future. Let's clarify that Seven of Coins, taking stock, taking inventory, trying to make decisions based on what you've put into something. In terms of relationship, let's look at maybe a secondary possibility here in terms of relationship, like a romantic relationship. It could be you have the opportunity in front of you to do the thing you love to do again so much, but perhaps it's over time it's proven to be unhealthy, but you're taking a look at what you've invested in this relationship and trying to ask yourself if you should do it anyway. Six of Swords, winning at all costs. The Ten of Coins, long-term stability and security. Clarify the Eight of Wands, movement, action, travel. Four of Coins, the Miser card, withholding, protecting, guarding, being economical, saving. It feels like temptation. It feels like you're being tempted to do something, and maybe the something that you want to do or want to have is something that you've done before, but for some reason, even if the thing itself isn't unhealthy, for some reason for you, there's some kind of unhealthy aspect. It feels like you shouldn't do this thing. Perhaps financially, materially, perhaps you're not in the same kind of place financially, materially that you were then, and it's not a good idea for you to do this for financial reasons or emotional reasons, or a combination of both. Let's clarify that Ten of Coins, long-term stability and security. Six of Wands, victory, triumph, success, public recognition. Can sometimes represent ego, wanting to do something because of how you're viewed or how people view you. The Two of Coins, a choice, a crossroads. Do I move forward with this? Do I invest the time, money, effort, etc. that it would take to do this thing again, or to have this thing. I love how it makes me feel. I love how it makes me look. You know, maybe it's going on a trip or traveling or going to some place that you've been before, but it's a little different for you now. It may not be the right time to go. Maybe you don't have enough money, or it's not a good idea to invest that financially or emotionally, but you want to go because you love being there. You love how you're seen and how it makes you feel. I don't know why I keep getting this sense of temptation. Clarify the Fool. And the Fool underscoring this may represent that even though it's something you want to do, there's a sense of knowing that you shouldn't, or that you shouldn't at this time, but it's kind of like trying to look at it in different ways, or trying to find different justifications for it. Clarify the Fool. Because I feel like the Fool here, Gemini, represents something that is unwise, foolish, or foolhardy. The Chariot, winning at all costs, winning no matter what. Yeah, it's not a good card to clarify the Fool, because it represents doing something that you want to do, and even though that you know it's not the right thing for you to do. 5 of Cups, sorrow, loss, grief, and regret. I think you would regret doing this. But you're trying to justify your way into doing it. That's what it feels like. Fair enough. We've all, I think, probably done this, right? With one thing or another at one time or another. 8 of Swords and the High Priestess. This is knowing that this is not the right time to do this. For whatever reasons in your own personal life, this is not the right time. I think you have a sense of knowing. But often, we human beings know these things, but we shove them to the back of our heads and kind of override them with excuses or justifications. I mean, isn't that the nature of addiction and obsession? Clarify 8 of Swords, feeling trapped or held back. Like you know something's not good, but you want to do it anyway, and you're caught in between those two. The 6 of Swords. No, that's the 8 of Swords. So the 8 of Swords is clarified by the 8 of Swords. This is really something that you shouldn't do. 2 of Cups, soulmate, kindred spirits, best friends. So there may be a relationship in here. It may be about a relationship or some aspect of a relationship. It also feels like there is a financial and material issue. You're being asked to do something perhaps that you've done before, but for some reason it's not a good idea for you to do right now, for emotional reasons, for financial reasons, or some combination of both of those things. Clarify the High Priestess. The Devil. That's the clincher. Addictions, obsessions. The thing which we know isn't good for us, but we still keep getting pulled back into it over and over and over again, because the devil enslaves through temptation, allurement, something we tell ourselves, oh, I know I probably shouldn't, but I get this thing out of it, right? It's difficult to break this cycle because there's something so alluring and tempting in it, but you know, I mean, this is what's clarifying the High Priestess, which is knowing, having that inner knowing. You know this thing, or this aspect of this thing, is not good for you, particularly not to indulge in at this time. It's all over the whole reading, and that if you do, you'll regret it. You'll feel bad about it afterwards. Interesting. Okay. Let's end with some advice, guidance, feedback for Gemini for the first 2 weeks of May 2022. Advice, guidance for Gemini. Queen of Swords, there you are, Aquarius, Gemini, Libra. The 5 of Wands in the reverse. Well, that's pretty clear. The 5 of Wands in the upright is petty drama, circular fighting, meaning fighting over the same thing over and over and over again. Arguments, negative debates. As advice, you got it in the reverse, which is a pretty clear sign of don't engage in fighting about this again, or fighting about the reasons for or against again, especially not for the relationship issue. It's quite obvious here with the 5 of Wands, because it's ongoing or repeated arguing or drama, and the Devil, that this is not a new issue. This is something that's been going on for some time, and perhaps you've given in the past, which makes it even harder to break it now. But you're being asked not to go there at this time, not to do this thing at this time that you want to do and have done before, because for some reason it's not the right time, it's not good for you. But you're also being asked not to engage in the same arguments about it, which likely just means staying grounded, staying in what you know your truth is, what's best for you, and not fighting about it. Temperance, staying grounded, staying in the center, neither too much of one nor too much of the other, knowing what the truth is here, knowing what the reality of it is here, in spite of, that tempting devil card part of it that wants to draw you in, knowing that even though you want it right now, it's not good for you. And again, it might not be that the thing itself isn't good. It's kind of like, being on a diet and you really, really want that piece of chocolate cake. It's not that chocolate cake is bad or that eating a piece of chocolate cake is bad, but for what you want and what your goals are, it would set you back. So it's not a good idea for you to do it at that time. That's kind of what this feels like, although it's going to vary in importance and intensity. The Hanging Man, taking no action because you're waiting, watching, gaining new perspectives. Something is still playing out. So for the time being, even though you want to, this is a card about kind of stasis and limbo, not taking any decisive actions forward. This is advice and guidance for you. So it's quite clear. Staying in your truth, staying grounded, staying quiet. No need to fight about it. With this ongoing historical energy, there's probably nothing new to be said anyway. It's probably already been said. So just kind of stay in your nice, quiet, peaceful center. Even though there are aspects of it which will be challenging and difficult, right? That chocolate cake is a nice piece of chocolate cake, but not right now. Okay, Gemini. Those are your messages for the first half of May. I hope you found them useful. If any of this resonated with you enough that you'd like to take a deeper dive on it, take a deeper look at something, reach out for a personal reading for yourself or as a gift for someone else, feel free to email me directly. Again, Maggie1McGuire@gmail.com. You can look at the description link. Click on that little arrow, the description link. You'll see my email address there too. I will see you all in a couple of weeks for the May mid-month reading. Stay safe and well, and I hope to see you back here again soon. Bye-bye.